Hey everybody, welcome to Uncle Nearest Summer Cocktail Series. We've got brand ambassadors from around the country, and we're all going to do a different cocktail that we enjoy drinking in the summer. We have a fourth ambassador that's going to join us a little bit later, Chasity in Chicago. But my name is Matt Carlson. I'm one of the brand ambassadors here in Los Angeles. And Jay, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. I am Jay Madison, market manager in Atlanta, Georgia, market manager. What's up, everybody from ATL and all around the world? So glad to be here. We're about to make up some cocktails, and the one I got coming up is going to be from in the calendar. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad to get on here. This is the first time I rocked out with my man Xander out there in Cali, man. What's up, Xander?
How you doing? My name is Xander. I work as a brand ambassador or market manager, whichever title that you just choose for us. But we're going to mix up some very delicious cocktails. Mine's a little bit unconventional, but that's very on brand for me.
Yes, indeed.
What do you mean? I'm excited to have another.
Go ahead.
I'm excited to have another California person on the show. We're bringing the West Coast influence here, Jay. So you gotta.
Yeah.
I mean,
your
cocktail is the one that's in our cocktail calendar. So I guess, but it's great to have some.
I mean, whatever it is, it's summertime. So we're both used to sunny days and scorching hot. but West Coast, you guys came out first. You were kicking butt. I was always chasing you guys, man. It's nice to be on the same level and riding high with you fellas. So it's always good. I'm trying to get my butt out there if we could ever get over this nonsense we got. Jeez.
Yeah.
I forgot to bring my mask inside too. Damn it. Who's got a mask?
In a vaccine world, in a post-vaccine world, you're welcome to come stay with me.
Yeah. Good luck on that.
I have a very beautiful parking lot in front of my apartment. We'll put a little tent up in the parking lot. You can hang out there. We'll do distanced cheersing.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm down with that. Bring like a star. Hang out.
Perfect.
A lot of things are different this summer, right? I've been enjoying baseball. Baseball's back. I don't know for how long, if you guys have followed the news. So we had some problems with the Miami Marlins, and we're waiting to see how that goes. But I've been binging on the Detroit Tigers. I watched all the games last weekend, and I've actually got it on right now. I'm from Michigan originally, so.
Hey, all I know is that the Red Sox won their first game. I'm a Bostonian at heart, so us California and Western Coast people are a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, we're from all over the country. Nobody in Los Angeles. Well, not nobody, but a lot of people from Los Angeles are from other parts of the country for sure.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing we can count on is some great summer cocktails. So hello to everybody who's joining us live. Feel free to jump into the comments. Millard says hi to Jay. I don't know if you saw that, Jay. But if you have any questions about the cocktails we're making, jump in and we'll try to address the comments as we go.
Oh, my man Miller, look at that. Oh, man, this is awesome. We're on here. Let's get on. Yeah, here we go. There's Sailor. Big shout out to Sailor, man. Hey, she's celebrating her anniversary. When was it? It was like 2 days ago? I think it was like yesterday or 2 days ago. When was it?
It was a couple days ago.
Yes.
So we'll have to have our toast to Sailor.
Yes. Shout out to her and her boo, Robin, man. Happy anniversary. One whole year.
It's been a pretty tumultuous year, though. I told Sailor, if you can make it through this year, you can make it through anything.
Yeah. First year is pretty tough. The first year, the 7th year, and what's this year, honey? Year 15 is a little tricky, especially if you throw a little COVID in there. You know what I'm saying? 2 kids, it's great.
Yeah.
You love it,
COVID
man.
and kids never combines.
No, Lord have mercy. Yes, we're doing it. And this will help making some cocktails. That's for darn sure.
Yes. So I'm going to jump in and start with the cocktail I'm going to make for tonight. It's called the Daisy Buchanan. It is a cocktail from Joaquin Simo, who was at Death & Co. in New York City. He now has his own bar called Pouring Ribbons in the East Village. This is a cocktail that originally used rye, so I've altered the ingredients just slightly to balance out the sweetness of Tennessee whiskey. But it is also something, it's an infused whiskey cocktail. So I started with a bottle of 1884. And here I'm going to switch this so everybody can see my screen.
Dun, 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 dun.
Great. So I'm using Uncle Nearest 1884 in this cocktail. This is our small batch whiskey. It's a 7-year-old 93 proof Tennessee whiskey. Generally, Tennessee whiskey is a little bit sweeter, and rye you would normally get a little more spice to it. So instead of using dry vermouth, which was in the original recipe, I'm going to use a little Kochi Americano. It gives it a little bit of a quinine kick to it. I know, Jay, you're a fan of Dubonnet. Dubonnet also has a bit of quinine in it. So quinine was originally an anti-malarial drug, and in the late 1800s, people decided to make it a little more fun to drink by adding alcohol. So there's a bunch of aperitif wines, including Kochi, that has a little bit of quinine in it. So it's Uncle Nearest 1884, and it's an infused whiskey. So I infused the whiskey with some chamomile. So I bought some whole chamomile flowers. You can buy these. You can buy whole flower chamomile tea, or you can just buy the flowers on Amazon. You're gonna take 3 heaping teaspoons of chamomile or chamomile tea, and put them into a larger vessel, right? And then you're gonna pour your Uncle Nearest 1884 into that, and you're gonna let it steep for about an hour and 45 minutes. So during which time, a lot of us are home right now. So if you're home, you're going to have plenty of time to check in on it and stir it. So I'd say every time you think of it, every 20, 30 minutes, go ahead and give it a stir. And then at the end of that hour and 45 minutes, you're going to need to strain it. Oh, I forgot something. So you're going to want to strain it through a strainer, but then also through a cheesecloth. To get out all the flowers, and then you can strain it back into your bottle, your original bottle. So I'm going to build this cocktail for you. We're going to start with the chartreuse because that's the smallest amount. So we're going to start with a 1/4 ounce of yellow chartreuse.
Yellow, nice.
Yellow chartreuse, and then we have
the green is better, but I'll be okay with it.
I was going to say that. Like, what is your preference between yellow and green, and why?
Green, it's like drinking medicine, but it's 55% alcohol, so it's going to cure everything that you have going wrong with you.
So the yellow chartreuse is going to be a little more subtle, right? They're both a little pricey, but you're only using a 1/4 ounce. So if you're just buying it to make this cocktail, get the 375, the half bottle. Then you're going to do a 1/2 ounce of Aperol, which is one of my favorite bitters. It's a little less intense, a little more grapefruit than something like Campari. Right? And then Kochi Americano. This was I'll be completely honest. I tried it with Dolan dry vermouth, which is what Joaquin originally used. But then I had a bottle of Kochi Americano in my fridge, and I was like, oh, that seems like a great idea. So it gives it a little bit of kick that you might be missing from the spice in the rye. So we're going to do 3/4 ounce of Kochi Americano.
We like Kochi. Kochi's good.
Okay. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of our chamomile-infused Uncle Nearest 1884.
Chamomile. Now, chamomile makes you a little sleepy, right? It makes you relax, so it's time to go to bed. I heard that's a pretty good tea for night time.
Yeah, if you want something to calm you down, I would say so. For me, this is very much like a summery take on a Manhattan, right? So it's a little lighter, a little more floral. I love Manhattans, but when it's in the 90s here in Los Angeles, it's a little less fun to have them. So I'm going to be stirring for a little while because this is served up and you want to stir to dilution. Obviously, you guys know this, but if you're serving on a rocks glass, you don't have to stir it, or on a rock, you don't have to stir as long because you're going to get some dilution from the ice cube, but you want this to be at the dilution. You want to drink that. So I've got about 30 seconds of stirring, so pardon me for a second. Talk amongst yourself.
Everyone plug your ears and pull away from the speaker.
least I'm
Hey,
not
so
shaking.
Xander, so tell me, man. I heard that San Diego has like the perfect weather year round. Is that true? And if so, what was the weather like today? And I heard you don't have mosquitoes either.
I can agree 100%. I was born and raised in Boston. I went through every awful winter that has ever existed. And I came out here, and it's literally been 75 degrees ever since I moved out here, every single day for the last year. There's like every once in a while there's a cloud, and every once in a while it'll sprinkle for 2 hours, and every San Diegan forgets how to drive. But being a New Englander, I can dodge all them. But generally out here in San Diego, it's cheaper than Boston, more beautiful, and everyone's way more laid back.
There you go.
All right, everybody. So this is the Daisy.
Right?
This is the Daisy Buchanan. So it's this beautiful pink color. I should mention, you probably know this, but it's named for character in The Great Gatsby. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite summertime drinks.
Looks delicious.
So cheers to Sailor on her first anniversary. And I'm going to take a sip of mine. I know I'm ahead of you guys, but I'll save a little bit to cheers you guys.
Oh, yeah. I got no alcohol in hand unless I'm going to start drinking from the bottle.
All right. Jay, you want to jump in and tell us about yours?
I guess so, man. That should be good. So again, this is the cocktail that I continually push. It was in the calendar again for the month of April. Shout outs to April. Seemed like it was so long ago. Jeez. And cocktail that was on the menu at One Flew South in Atlanta's airport, the busiest airport in the world, and the world famous One Flew South. So big shout outs to them and everybody watching from One Flew. We got a big nice podcast going on tomorrow with my man Chef Todd and Tiffany Barrier from One Flew South. So check us out tomorrow right here, 8:00. Nice plug. So the Uncle Nearest, the Nearest to Happiness, the cocktail came up with. It's kind of like a version, like a little play on a bourbon smash. Nothing crazy. And I really liked it going with Uncle Nearest because of packing a punch with the 1856. But then also, too, making it something, a cocktail that's more approachable for people who are like, whiskey, oh. And I'm like, look, whiskey's probably one of the best freaking spirits to put into a cocktail, hands down, personally speaking. So I figured I would do that and just add a little bit of flavor and color as well in doing the Lillet Rouge, muddling blueberries, and just lemon juice and simple syrup. It's a really simple, easy, quick cocktail. And so I figured I'd do that up, and it'd be really nice for summertime. It looks pretty and tastes great going down. So we'll get ready to rock that. I forgot my garnish. We'll see.
Show off your
So let's see what's happening. All right. So as always, I'm gonna start off. We're gonna muddle the blueberries, and I gotta work. I've always been told like I need to slow down because I'm so always flying when I do my cocktails because I'm thinking I'm working in the airport. So three to four blueberries. I got 3 of them in here right now. I could do more. Let's get some more. I got some extra blueberries.
Yeah, don't skimp on those blueberries.
Yeah, let's not skimp on those. See that? So this is what we call a muddle. I got the big boy because I don't play around, folks. So we're not gonna go too hard. I'm gonna give it like a good 2 or 3 of those. Get the juice out, express it, get it popping. That's about it. And then we have where's my lemon juice? There we go. Fresh lemon juice. So as you can see, we have our beautiful little to-go cocktail containers, a little mason jar. So I'm gonna do a half ounce of lemon juice. I'm gonna go backwards and come up to the front with the alcohol. So I'm gonna do a half ounce of lemon juice.
I was always trained you pour the cheapest product first. So if you mess up the cocktail, you're gonna waste less money.
Right. It works out well like that in the same way, but I guess a lot of times we do this. You always want to put out there, we do the Uncle Nearest first because, it's that. But, yeah, in the daggone bar, oops, you can't see me. In the bar, yeah, I'm usually going like with the cheap stuff first, and then you put in the real spirit at the end. So just in case, like you said, you toss that stuff out, start all over again, you're not going to kill too much stuff on cost. All right.
You don't want to be throwing away Uncle Nearest 1856.
Never.
Yeah. So exactly. I'll put in a half ounce of simple syrup. That's there. And we're going to do an ounce of the Lillet Rouge. There's that. All right, and then an ounce and a half, and I did, like I said, I did 1856. So we're going to put that baby in there. There we go, ounce and a half. And that's it, baby. And let's get some ice. I got some ice in here that I'm going to smash. I'm going to get a little quick shot real quick. Again, talk amongst yourselves. But so
that's my favorite part.
Yeah. So here comes my favorite part. So normally, what I would do, because I'm trying to do these cocktails so freaking fast. What I would do, I just shake the crap out of it, and that would be what it is. But beforehand, since it's like a play on a bourbon smash, you usually crush the ice. So just for here with you guys, I'm gonna crush the ice. It's been kind of a rough day, a wacky Wednesday, so I'm gonna release some tension. This is gonna be fast, but this is gonna be loud for a second. So enjoy yourselves. That was easy. See that? Simple. Then throw that in there.
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time to play up in here.
Ain't nobody got time with kids and shit.
Ain't nobody have time for that. All right, so there's that. There's that. So all ingredients. There we go. Shaker.
Looking good.
It's good form.
That was good? Did I work it out?
Yeah. It almost looked like you worked at bars before.
Once in a while. You know what I'm saying? That seriously, that was my workout. So I have not done jack since I've been home with all this COVID stuff. So needless to say, I'm a fat bastard. Oops. Can I say that?
Probably not.
All right, got it. So,
but you're going to send you a message later.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, that is a pretty cocktail, my friend.
There it is. And then we're going to garnish with some fresh mint that my beautiful wife just brought in from outside. Woo, that looks good. Throw that baby in there.
Tell us a little bit about slapping the mint.
So, you slap the mint to, again, kind of bring out the essence, bring out the cinnamon to kind of, the way I talk about it, like it activates it. So that adds a nice little aroma to the cocktail, but also too, it brings it out. You smack it like, sometimes you'll see other bartenders, they'll smack it like that to express it, to, give it a, let's go. So that way, it doesn't, damage it. It's not like muddling or nothing like that, but that way you get it out and add that to the cocktail. Yeah, that's how I explain it. So nice. That is the nearest to happiness. And in a nutshell, let's get the blueberries up there if you can see them a little bit more. There we go.
Yeah, give us a nice close up of this cocktail.
Heck yeah! And again, a special cheers.
I mean, don't spill it on your computer, but
Boom. That way. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. And cheers, everybody. Cheers to you, Taylor. Again, happy anniversary, and cheers everybody out there sipping with us and watching.
I'll be able to cheers in a second.
Ooh. Always.
How'd you do, Jay?
Always. Thank you. So that's it in a nutshell. This is me in a nutshell.
Speaking of nutshells, Xander, I feel like you got some nutmeg on your cocktail, right?
I do have some nutmeg, and I am a nut. So
I'm really great at transitions. So
that was flawless.
That was
I'm
for you.
impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You should be in Hollywood, Matt.
Hey, he's close enough.
Yeah, I'm close. I could.
Right.
Well, I could sort of see it from my house. Not really.
You can hear all the failed actresses and actors right outside your window.
Right.
I mean, right now it's a very quick drive to Hollywood. Normally it's a little bit longer, but nobody's on the road still. So, but on that note, I'm going to turn it over to our resident our resident nut in San Diego.
Perfect transition. So as I always do, I'm going to do a little unconventional. I'm going with a whiskey flip. If those aren't familiar with flip, it's actually a cocktail featuring a whole egg. And I don't think many people would associate this with being a summer cocktail, but coming from the nice cold weather of New England, I just liked that hearty, just rich flavor, because it just kind of reminds you a little bit of eggnog, reminds you a little bit of just everything you want. And like after that sun sets, no matter where you are, that cool night, it's like the perfect cocktail to finish off. I'm gonna go a little bit into the history, just because that's kind of how I roll with like the nerd stuff. The original flip, the first time it was ever written about, was actually back in 1695, where they incorporated beer, rum, and sugar, and then a hot iron poker that they would heat up and dip into it, and it'd flip because it would basically boil. But after a few years, they would take out the beer, add the egg, add more sugar, not serve it hot anymore, and now it's more to kind of what we know as a flip. The classic recipe that I know for most
the original was a cocktail, but could also kill a vampire.
Yeah. Cocktail's a loose term back then, because in the 1600s, no one really referred them to cocktails, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So, simple enough. We're going to start with 1 ounce of Demerara syrup. Demerara sugar is just basically a non-molasses brown sugar. And then you do a 1-to-1 by volume with water and sugar. So 1 ounce of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 ounces of 1856, because we do not play around with our flips.
Never. Smack you right in the
2
face.
ounces of 100 proof spirit is going to make any nightcap a perfect nightcap. There we go. And then 1 whole egg. You don't have to be super, super careful about any sort of shell in there, because you're going to double strain it anyways. So the only real interesting technique to this is just it requires a double shake. So I'm not going to put any ice in here, and then you just want to shake it to incorporate all of the egg bits, I guess. Egg matter.
The egg matter. I like that.
It's no matter. And any of those who are worried about salmonella or stuff like that, if you're getting fresh eggs and they're keeping them refrigerated and also serving it with alcohol, you're not going to have a problem. I would say don't drink it if you're pregnant, but you shouldn't be drinking anyways if you're pregnant. So we're avoiding that altogether.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, a little red wine never hurt anybody, but I'm no doctor.
I was gonna say, either that, or if you're drinking a nice Guinness, if you're overseas in where is that, Ireland? Yeah.
I heard it's good.
Yeah.
So then 1 big old ice cube.
Big old.
Seal that back up.
That's a pretty good thing you got there too, Xander.
Done it for a few years.
We got a boatload of all of our UA team on here. I see Haley's on here. I'm slow on the uptake. Sorry, Haley. What's up, Haley? What's up, Cody? Cody's our resident dope shaker. So we always try and compete to see if we can shake as good as Cody and show off the guns. But I'm just here for comedy relief. I'm not here to show off the guns. That's for darn sure.
I haven't been working out as much, so I'm trying. I'm doing a lot of running.
Okay.
So then after the shaking, you do a double strain.
Double strain, right on.
So your tea strainer and your Hawthorne. Fill it right up to that brim.
Nice.
And then to top it off perfectly, fresh grated nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
One never realized how much nutmeg costs. It's like $11 for a whole container, and it's going to last me probably the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so by the way, Xander, that glass, is that a Nick and Nora glass?
This is a Nick and Nora. Do you know what it's named after?
Nick Nolte?
No, it's an old school sitcom. Nick and Nora were the two main characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Was
So
that back
I'm
in
gonna
like
try
the
to.
50s?
Yeah, before that actually. I'm trying to get as close as possible.
Nice.
Tilted it all. Filled to the brim there. Cheers to Sailor and Company. Classic flip.
Booyah.
Everything perfect.
Yes.
So that's just going to be like super rich. The sweetness of the Demerara is going to match with like the richness of the full-bodied spirit level of the 56. And that egg just adds like, it reminds you of like the best eggnog as a kid, but with all the benefits of being over 21.
Right on. Right on. Good point. And a lot, like you mentioned there too, I mean, a lot of times people are worried when they see the egg yolk, not the egg yolk, the egg white, sorry.
Egg white
in
egg
a cocktail. Yeah, don't do that. But the egg white in the cocktail, because of the fact that that's real sour. That's a real sour. You have egg white, simple syrup, and lemon juice. That's what true sour is. And so you see and you find out that it adds texture to your cocktail. If you've had a sour before, you've never had a sour until you put an egg white into your sour somehow, some way. That'll change your whole perspective of what that is. Yeah, it's so much more creamy, gives it texture, makes it like a meringue. It's freaking delicious, like you said. So give me guys some love on that one. Find out.
If you're going to go to a place and order a sour, make sure they're cracking that egg fresh to the cocktail. Don't go to a place that's pre-batching out their egg whites. I've seen places that will either get an egg white substitute or batch out all their egg whites and put in a little squeeze bottle. They should be cracking that egg fresh to order, and that's going to be just the best possible sour and or flip.
That's right.
Xander, can you talk a little bit about? Can you talk a little bit about people's nervousness or skittishness about having a raw egg? I know there's probably some people watching that would say that.
Yeah, back when. Well, not to get too into it, but naturally, actually, if you
get into it, man.
If you get an egg freshly laid, you don't have to even refrigerate it. There's actually a natural coating from the chicken where you can leave a chicken egg out at room temperature for like 2 to 3 weeks. The problem why Americans refrigerate eggs is because we wash them. We actually remove the protective coating from that eggshell, and then it makes it so it's less shelf stable. Then on top of that, as long as it's refrigerated for those 2 to 3 weeks, there's not going to be any chance of any sort of potentially salmonella, anything like that, let alone, depending on the spirit that you put in it, especially something like this delicious 100 proof A256, that'll also take away any sort of potential for any sort of issues. But let alone, as long as you just ordered as long as the eggs aren't over 2 weeks, you're never going to get into any sort of issues. So that's why it's like going to a restaurant, make sure it's a trustworthy place. And it's like, as long as the cocktail bar that knows what it's doing, you're never going to have a problem. Don't go to a dive bar and order a flip. First of all, they'll hate you. Second of all, you might walk out of there not feeling so hot.
I mean, you probably would have anyway if you order food. So we did have a question from Kate Jerkins asking if there's a possible substitute for an egg. Could you do it with something else?
There's actually 2 other ones, aquafaba and burrata water. So aquafaba is from
burrata water.
So chickpea juice, so to speak. When you get a can of chickpeas, what is left over is called aquafaba. Because of the protein structure and because basically most of the protein structure, you can actually replace an egg white. It's more of a direct transition to egg white, not a whole egg. The yolk is going to add a flavor that you can't really recreate in a vegan and or non-egg option. But the aquafaba is almost indistinguishable from egg white. And then burrata water.
I gotta say something real fast.
Yeah, tell me about the burrata. Oh no, go ahead, Jay.
Well, real fast, when it was brought to my attention of using chickpea juice, I was like, "You out your freaking mind, man! I'm not putting that in my damn cocktail." But then
that's why you call it.
Right.
You call it aquafaba, and no one's gonna question you.
Wow, I mean, just the nasty thing about it is like looking at the can when you're pouring out the juice. That's the worst thing about it. But like in the cocktail, it's freaking delicious. I mean, you know, you can't really tell. Like you're saying, the flavor gives a little bit more when you're having the egg white, but you know, in regard to the texture and given the frothiness you're looking for, it's amazing how it works so well. And it's vegetarian, so you know you can please all those people out there. Like, dude, I'm totally vegetarian.
It's vegan.
Yeah.
So aquafaba is vegan, which is a great cocktail option. That you'll generally never even. I'd say side by side, you're generally not going to taste the difference. But going into burrata water, that's been a more recent exploration. So before I started at Uncle Nearest, I worked at a pizza joint, and we had a bunch of mozzarella balls that came in water. So they always had mozzarella spheres.
I worked at so one of my first restaurant jobs was at a Michelin recommended Italian restaurant. We served burrata, and I would never have thought to hear that be in a cocktail. Oh. I knew about chickpea aquafaba. I'm not going to say chickpea juice there. I just said it, but burrata water, that's new for me.
It actually is really cool because if you lean into it, it adds a lot of cool flavors because it does have a natural salinity to it, but it also has a bit of protein and a bit of texture. So like making I always said like a little bit of salt, like salted chocolate. It adds that extra sweetness to it. So if you kind of lean into it and have a kind of a sweeter side cocktail with the burrata, it adds like this richer, more full-bodied cocktail experience. So if you have access to it, definitely play around with it. And it's not something that is generally used. And anytime you order fresh mozzarella, you're going to have an excess of stuff that you never use anyways. So you can store it for probably like, I wouldn't go over 2 weeks, honestly, after that, but play around with cocktails. Have some like sweet, savory cocktails and lean into it. And it's a great...
Yeah, and you can pair it with the burrata.
Yeah.
Burrata and cocktails. Is there anything that you would say would substitute for an egg yolk, though, or is that a little harder to do?
I've looked into it a little bit, and I haven't, besides like some sort of a textual thing, like getting into gelatin, but then gelatin in itself isn't vegan. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. I haven't found any good substitute to egg yolks. But I would just say use a little bit more of the chickpea or the burrata, and then maybe up. If I were to change this cocktail personally, I would add like a bar spoon of allspice dram, and then just use the burrata and it'll be the same richness with a little bit more spice to it. So you're not gonna have to worry about the texture thing as much. So it's just a matter of playing around. It's like, what do you prefer? Do you want something to be more whiskey? Do you want something to be more body? And if you want that vegan option, do the allspice dram, add some burrata water, and you're going to have an amazing cocktail.
So Kate Jerkins, you heard it here. You need burrata water and allspice dram, and you can make Xander's cocktail with no eggs.
Yeah, all that tamarind.
I can attest to the allspice dram because I once had a really deep, close relationship with allspice dram. Some people say like, dude, you put allspice dram and everything. I'll be like, sometimes, I just add it. I mean, you can't mistake the beautiful flavor with all the spices in there. It's like amazing. I was sliding a little bit in my Manhattans. Wow.
You have to go very little bit though. A little bit goes a very long way.
It's like that's it.
It's like the same thing with absinthe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we also had a comment about how great your haircut is, Jay. I just want to point that out.
Oh my goodness! Did we get that in there? Did someone say that for real?
We sure did. It says, "Can we talk about Jay's haircut? Looking good." So I don't want to hear it. So Jay was a little hesitant about his haircut. We were talking before we went live. But Jay, you look great.
I should have. I'm gonna put it on camera right now. I should have let my wife cut my hair. This is a cool cut, but I look like I'm joining the army like tomorrow. So, I guess my barber, because my hair was so freaking big, and how big my hair was, my hair like starts curling up the closer you get to my skull, and so it was just really tricky with cutting it. So he did pretty good, but this is what we got. So I'm gonna let it grow out a little bit, and we'll go from there. But thank you for whoever put the comment out there about my hair. I try to do what I can.
I'm wearing a hat for a reason. I'm wearing a hat.
I will tell you, This is a wife haircut. I'll tell you, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know me, for like 5 years, I shaved my head, and the person who shaved it was my wife. And I started growing it out when we went into lockdown, and it's really long now. You can measure the time that we've been in COVID by how long my hair is. But I finally got a little bit of a undercut. So this is a shout out also to my wife's cousin, who's a hairdresser. She got on FaceTime with us, and like the phone was right here, and Leslie had the, So, but big props to my wife for giving me a great haircut, because it was funny. We were able to go to barbers for like 2 weeks in Los Angeles, and then during that time I was like, maybe I should go, and then I was like, no, maybe I shouldn't. And I thought about getting an appointment and then didn't, and then the next day they closed barbershops again. So thank you to my wife.
I jumped on it pretty early because I have a friend who I know personally, and so we're able to do an at-home haircut thing with masks and stuff. So I was able to get a decent cut. But that was like day one of them opening it up. So now I'm overdue again. So now I'm back to wearing a hat again.
The worst thing I don't think people realize about guys' haircuts is that we get our haircut like every 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, depending on whether you have like a shorter haircut. Like mine's on the longer side, so if it gets too long, it's just like I don't want to use 1 billion pounds of gel to slick it back. So it's like keep it on the shorter side.
That's right. Yeah, like normally it'd be like pre-COVID I would get haircut maybe like every 2 weeks, because it grows fast. Oh yeah, man, you gotta, the brothers gotta stay faded.
You got the beautiful fade.
I can't let it fly in the wind like that. Yeah, but 2 weeks, the fade is gone. It's gone completely.
Yeah, that's true. When I had my head shaved, it was down to like a 1 blade, and Leslie would do it like every week or every 2 weeks. Because otherwise, you start looking silly.
Yeah, in basic training, we got our hair cut every 3 weeks, and they shaved it down to nothing.
Straight down.
Xander, were you Army?
No, I actually have standards. No, I was Air Force.
Oh!
Both of my brothers were Army, so that's why I throw shade to them.
My whole wife's family's Army, so careful.
Oh, trust me. Both my brothers were like, you need to be responsible. You need an education. Go Air Force.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. My pops was Air Force too, so
respect to every veteran, but there's always going to be that.
There's always a rivalry for sure.
Oh yeah, we're the lazy, educated people. They're the ones that actually do something, and we just look pretty and take the credit. So I'm used to that. I look pretty and take the credit.
Me
too.
There's
an Army Navy cocktail. Is there an Air Force cocktail?
It's just probably like a Ramos or something real fancy or something like that.
Something with a whole egg in it. Yeah.
Oh, probably like a flip.
Nutmeg. Yeah.
Yeah, the Army Navy is a great one. If anyone's familiar with that, it's a gin-based cocktail. Has lemon, orgeat, gin, and Angostura bitters.
It's tasty. I made it the other week. I made my own orgeat for the first time, which,
it's not like
a little bit of
effort.
Have
boiled almonds sticking around. I mean, it's not the worst thing to make. It just requires a lot of time.
It's way better. It's way better, but I never thought. So you make your own almond milk, and then you basically make a simple syrup from it. It's real tasty. It's way better than any commercial. So if you have the time and you're getting into cocktails,
apologize for the background noise.
Got all the time in the world.
Guys, do you want to give a shot? Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I got rib. My bad. I got ribbed really bad last week with Sailor and Victoria about not making my own simple syrup. So the fact you made your own orgeat, I mean, kudos to you, man. I was like, look, I didn't say this, but I was like, I have absolutely no time right before I got on camera to make my own simple syrup. And plus, I have a plethora of simple syrup that I have from other events, so I'll just have it right here. But I'm really impressed with you making your own orgeat.
It's so good, man. That's awesome. Put it on pancakes. Put it on ice cream. It's so delicious.
Wow.
Yeah, and you don't use that much of it unless you're drinking a lot or having parties, which honestly I'm not doing right now. maybe drinking, but not parties.
You're partying, social distancing, and drinking a lot at home.
Yeah, yeah. There's two of us, so we're going to go through orgeat very slowly. I would say for things like that or grenadine, you can make a batch, and then if you put it in a little enough bottle, you put a little bit of alcohol in this to make it, shelf stable in your refrigerator. But you can also freeze the other half of it. So I've got a frozen bottle of orgeat in my fridge that in a couple months I'll thaw out. And then, if you're, this will last, I would say, at least a month, maybe a little bit longer. What do you think, Xander?
Probably about that. If you did put a little alcohol into it, my old bar, we had orgeat. We probably made every 3 weeks. About that, but definitely there are bottles that last longer. I mean, there's so many simple things you can do. Like ginger syrup, we made fresh every single day, and that takes all of 10 minutes to make. It's like the second you get a little bit of knowledge and a couple tools, you can up your cocktail game by tenfold. Make your own demerara, make your own ginger syrup. It's all super easy.
And
I think that's something important for people. Yeah. I think it's important for people at home, though, to realize that, I don't know, for me, I ran a whiskey program at a bar that had 200 North American whiskeys, and one of my big sort of manifestos was, whiskey should not be intimidating. Whiskey should not be, this elitist drink. Everybody can drink it. You learn as you go. And I feel like it's the same is true for cocktails. We're in this moment of craft cocktails where people are kind of nervous to make cocktails at home, or it's too complicated, or I can't do it. It's just not true. Yes, go support your local bars and your local restaurants that are making high-end cocktails. But if you have the time, it's just there's so many people that spend time looking at cooking blogs or watching cooking shows and then trying the recipes at home. It's the same thing. It's just going to take you a little bit of time. But, you can make orgeat at home. You can make grenadine at home. And you should not be buying grenadine from the store because it's
pomegranate juice and sugar.
Yeah, whereas Rose's grenadine is just garbage. And
I mean, I come from the same network. My bar, I had about 300 cocktails memorized before I became a bartender. And it was just a matter of, we only had a set base syrups. We had simple syrup, lime simple, grenadine, demerara, honey. We never had agave because even a classic margarita shouldn't have agave syrup. You should use, in my opinion, an orange liqueur with lime juice and tequila. You don't need agave. You shouldn't put any simple syrup into a good margarita. But that's just me being a weird elitist who comes from a cocktail bar background, and everyone hates me for it. But that's how I make my drinks. It's drink what makes you happy. Don't worry about it.
Do you? Do you?
Oh yeah.
You want to be an elitist? Be an elitist.
No one's going to come into your house and judge you for the way you're drinking.
Do that. Whatever you do, enjoy your freaking cocktail. Whatever you do, enjoy your whiskey. And
there's no rules to drinking.
Be happy. Yes. Okay.
Well, don't drink in public and try to not get arrested and stuff like that. Drink responsibly, drink honorably at home. But the way you drink, there are no rules. Mix it with what you want to mix it with. You can take any age statement spirit and put it with any mixer you want. No one's going to complain.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Oh, man. I feel
all right.
Look, I'm not going to put 1820 in a cocktail. I know Sailor says otherwise.
I would 100%.
Wow.
Oh, man. It's hard for me to put a spirit that's over $75 in a cocktail.
Yeah.
I made a Gold Rush with a 46-year-old Scotch.
Wow. But, at the end of the day...
Was it delicious?
If 100%. It's on them. It's I'm not going to sit up here and shame the crap out of you. If you're paying for it, go for it. I mean, I had a guy that made old-fashioned. He did an old-fashioned with freaking Whistle Pig. I think it was 18, either 15 or 18. Yeah, one of those. And I was like, all right, bro, let's, run it. When
I was in Boston, we had there's a cocktail that was $270. It was Glenlivet 21, Grand Marnier Quintessence, and 24 karat gold covered maraschino cherries.
Nice.
I was like, it's ridiculous, and not many people can drink it. But like, if you can afford it, drink whatever you want. Put whatever you want with anything you want. I think spirits are made to be enjoyed. And we were talking earlier before the phone call. I'm going to buy a vintage bottle of Chinar that costs $300 and drink it for my 30th birthday, and it's going to be great.
Well, that's like a historical odyssey. You're like going back in time. That stuff. So the bar I used to work at, we had like a bottle of Four Roses from the 70s. We had like antique bourbons, you know, some stuff from the 40s and 50s. And that stuff, like when I got a chance to taste it, it's like tasting a time capsule, you know? So you go back in time and taste what the production methods were like. You taste what non-GMO corn in a bourbon tastes like, you know, and that can be an exciting thing. And for me, like those are things that I probably want to have neat, but that's probably because my background isn't necessarily in craft cocktails. It's in neat pours. I
would always try it, like especially something that I'm trying for the first time. I will enjoy it by itself. Then that will give.
What do you think about Pappy Jello shots?
100% love it.
That's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
I would do it.
There was a bar in Kentucky that did Pappy Jello shots just to show how ridiculous it was.
Well, because he wasn't able to get his allocation. He applied for his allocation like a bunch of times, and they weren't giving it to him. And when he finally got the allocation, he only got like one bottle, and he's so frustrated with like the way they were allocating it. And it just older Weller. It's like it's basically the same exact thing. It just made it a little bit differently, has a different label. So he put a Pappy Van Winkle, I don't know the year statement on it, all into Jello shots. And guess who didn't get their allocation next year? Him. But he said it was 100% worth it, and he'd do it again.
Right.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would make Pappy Van Winkle slushy penicillins.
Oh no! Oh god!
That would be hilarious.
So
I would take a sip of that, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course you would. I wouldn't want to try it.
I understand it as like an artistic statement, but man, I'd just rather drink it neat, honestly, not mixed with strawberry Jello.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I would still like.
Wow.
I've tried Pappy.
Have you tried a Pappy Jello shot?
I've tried Pappy's by itself, and I was like, okay, it's good. Would it make a Jello shot better?
Not.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I haven't had it in a Jello shot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe you'll get your chance someday.
So we don't go too far off the reservation.
Give me a minute. You're going to start seeing San Diego 1820 Jello shots popping up.
Oh, I hope Fawn's not watching.
Oh, God, no. Fawn, I love you. Don't
gotta
judge
get on
me.
more podcasts, man, because,
California is never getting 1820 again.
This is the only bottle I have, and I love it and treasure it. I used it for samples for guests only, I promise.
Oh. So,
all right, we should get back on subject here.
We're getting down off the reservation.
This can get really bad. Man, we gotta get you on the episode of Whiskey Dads, and then we'll probably get cut off of that one.
Right, I'm a fur dad. Does that count?
Yeah.
I used to think so before I had a kid.
Yeah, so
I have nieces and nephews. I lived with a 3-year-old for 6 months.
Right.
Okay,
that sounds
My roommate had a kid.
I'm going to give him some more shot. So one thing we want to do before we close is to feature some cocktails at bars that are local to our areas that are either doing in-person cocktails, if that's a thing that's possible, or to-go cocktails as well. I'll go first. I've got a couple places. My territory is pretty big, actually. I cover Los Angeles, but then also sort of north all the way up to San Luis Obispo. We've got a cocktail at the Truman House in San Fernando called the Southern Belle. I'll give Jay some credit for this. He introduced me to a cocktail with Dubonnet, and I helped them create this cocktail called the Southern Belle. It's Uncle Nearest 1856 Dubonnet, Aperol, and orange juice. That's available in person at their restaurant. They're just doing so in Los Angeles. It's just outdoor seating currently, But they're also doing Uncle Nearest 1856 in an old-fashioned to-go. So you can get a cocktail to-go pouch with three servings, essentially, of an old-fashioned. And then at Alexander's, which is a steakhouse in Pasadena, they've got this amazing cocktail with maybe even a better name. It's called What's the Dilly Yo? It features Uncle Nearest 1884, lemon juice, brown sugar simple, dill, cucumber, and cracked pepper.
Ooh,
it is
that sounds awesome.
So good. Right now, they are serving it on their patio, but they're going to launch a to-go program in August, I think, and we're going to be featured on it. And then also, sort of in the other direction, out in the desert, the Broken Bit Steakhouse has a cocktail called the Snake Oil, which is a penicillin riff with 1884, and you can have that either in person or to-go.
Got it. Oh, nice. You have
Jay, where can we get some stuff?
I feel like
I got a list of three. I mean, it's not huge.
I'm not as cool as you are, but we've been going through a whole lot of shenanigans back and forth with this freaking state. So I don't know when we're open and when we're not open. I got my governor and my mayor fighting each other on trying to figure this stuff out, which is complete anarchy too. But we actually had on last week was a cocktail that we did. Now we have two of them that we're working on to make sure they're doing them to go. But at Parlor, which I saw them tonight too. So shout out to my folks at Parlor, my man Alfonso and Audie. But we have a cocktail that they did, the Black Wall Street, which is a really beautiful cocktail, which is a mint syrup, black walnut bitters, and of course we did 1884 in there. And then there was a charcoal ice cube. And so that's, of course, what made the cocktail black. Really, really good, delicious. And then we had like a little splash of ginger beer on top. And so I did it at first without the ginger beer, and it was freaking splendid for those purists, of course. And then I forgot, I was like, oh crap, we're supposed to add a little splash of ginger beer. And it was like on another level on that standpoint. So the Black Wall Street is one that we're working on to go. And then they also have their original cocktail that had Uncle Nearest in it when they first opened, which is called the Mr. Jones. And that one is also too like a play on an old fashioned too. So both of those are what's going on, and they're actually doing a lot of service. They're doing patio service like out in the parking lot because of stuff. And so those are going good and to go cocktails, but I got to put in a lot more work on to go stuff. We've been running wild here because Uncle Nearest is flying out the door here in Georgia. So I've got to work on the on-premise stuff and get some more spots doing some to go stuff. But that's what I got right now, man.
Jay, can you tell us about the charcoal ice cube? I'm not sure I can picture what that means.
I'm sorry. So pretty much you just take activated charcoal, which I went out that day. I went out and bought some at CVS, the capsules, crack open the capsules and drop it in some water, mix it up and put it in the ice tray, man. And so we did in the big cubes. Yeah. So it's awesome, man. As soon as you pretty much drop it in, it takes on the flavor. And of course, as it starts to dilute and also the charcoal gets into the cocktail, and of course it turns the cocktail black. And then she also had to put a mint leaf in the water to make it inside the charcoal. But then I just said, let's just make it as a garnish and put it on there. So of course, Black Wall Street, the cocktail's black, but then you have green for money with the mint leaf, which is really cool. So it ties together very well.
That sounds delicious.
Oh man, really good.
Yeah, we've also here in San Diego, we've had a couple places, at least friends accounts that have been opening and then closing to do renovations and then trying to be outdoor only. So I'm going to give a couple accounts that are going to reopen soon that have an option once they reopen, and then one that's in the process of. So out in San Diego, there's a place called Small Bar. They did this amazing to-go cocktail. It had a peach simple syrup and citrus with the Uncle Nearest 1884, which is a super refreshing cocktail that they did to go in our mason jars. And I was selling through hotcakes until everything changed. So they shut down for a bit. They still have a lot of mason jars, and they're still waiting to reopen to send it out again. And then I have another friend's account down in Little Italy. We're actually in the process of getting a slushy machine. So my friend, he works for Uncle Ed's, and I work for Uncle Nearest. So it's going to be the Uncle Slushy Machine. And we're going to have a to-go cocktail option with Uncle Nearest 1856. It's going to transition. I think the first option is going to be a classic Gold Rush, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of honey. They're going to have that as a to-go cocktail slushy pouch. And then also, if you're in the San Diego area, keep your eyes out. I'm going to be posting about it in the next week or so. We're doing a Uncle Nearest food paired and cocktail paired meal. So basically, they're going to do a whole weekend option where you can get a food item prepared with Uncle Nearest and then have a custom cocktail with a tasting of the 84 and the 56. So it's basically be like a tasting dinner with 1856 featured in the food as well. So the place is called Cloak and Pedal. We'll probably be actually finalizing that this week and hopefully doing it in the next week or two. And I'll start posting on the social media as soon as that's available. And then we're going to record a video with my buddy, who's the bar manager, making the cocktail. And then I'll go into a little bit of a history about the Uncle Nearest. So we're trying to kind of do something that makes sense on your own schedule. You can look at the YouTube video whenever you want and enjoy the food whenever you want. So it's like, just we're all rolling with the punches here and making it work with whatever we can make work.
You ain't lying. So to add to that point, so make sure that everybody knows, of course, I'm looking on here on Facebook. We have Facebook on Uncle Nearest Facebook page. We have Uncle Nearest IG Live, of course, on Instagram. But then also, too, we have our own YouTube page. By the name of the YouTube channel is Pound the Rock. So make sure anybody, if you ever want to go back and check out any of these shows that are on there, go to our YouTube channel, Pound the Rock, which is Uncle Nearest's YouTube channel. And you can see all of our podcasts. You can see all of us on there making cocktails, having these crazy shows, having a good time, and really engaging. Because I think out of a lot of people out here in the spirits industry, I think we are really, truly engaging with folks. And I mean, that's going a long way in regards to how things are going with us, because Uncle Nearest is freaking, how I see it, Uncle Nearest is everywhere nowadays. I mean, so I'm really, really proud of it. And I love working with you guys. I love working for the company. And I mean, we're out here just moving some things and cementing a whole lot of legacy. And at the same time, making some great freaking cocktails and having people enjoy some beautiful, lovely Tennessee whiskey, which is kicking butt right now, man. The most awarded American whiskey of 2019, and dadgummit, I'm saying 2022 at this point.
American whiskey or bourbon.
Or bourbon.
Yeah.
American whiskey or bourbon. Thank you, sir. Absolutely right. Yes, indeed. Thank you for clarifying that.
I'll tag on to that too. So if you are looking for a bottle and you can't find it in your area, you can go to our website. If you put in your zip code, it'll tell you, a liquor store near you that carries it. And if there's not one that carries it, you can also buy a bottle on our website. And right now, I think you can still use the shipping code Liquid Gold. So if you put in that code, you'll get free shipping for Liquid Gold.
Mm-hmm. Gives it a little discount, makes it worthwhile.
There's also a portion of the website where you can look for to-go cocktails. So in addition to seeing what bars and restaurants carry us, there's a separate search engine that'll show you cocktails to go. So you're more than welcome to make all these at home, but if you like watching us make them and drinking them from a bar, that is absolutely great too. So go ahead and support our partners at bars and restaurants, and you can search. You'll find the places that we talked about, probably the Black Wall Street, Truman House's the Southern Belle, and what's the Dilio should come up on that search in August. Yeah.
On top of all that, if you want to continue watching any sort of live streaming videos, we have a whole schedule on our website. You can see all the cast of characters that are employed by Uncle Nearest. You can hear us ramble about cocktails and history and other companies that we love and want to support. So check that out and come join us on multiple times a week.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on.
I think that's
always.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of it for us this evening. We hope that you enjoyed these cocktails. I think I'm probably going to be making a flip sometime this week. Xander, I don't know that I've get my whole egg. We got some farm fresh eggs in the fridge. So
all eggs.
Thank God.
And we'll have to get get one of the nearest to happiness happening over here too.
Always.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
Gentlemen, I hope you guys have a great night. And it was thank you for everyone for coming and hanging out with us and hearing us ramble about some random cocktails.
Oh yeah,
I've got a little bit of Daisy Buchanan left in my glass. Should we make one more toast to Sailor?
I got a little
brand
bit. It makes it
ambassador. Our brand ambassador up in the Pacific Northwest. Happy first anniversary, Sailor.
Happy first anniversary.
Thanks for all the work that you do.
Amen.
Have a great night.
And big shout out to Haley.
Drink honorably, everybody.
We couldn't do it without you, darling. We could not do it. And when you make the nearest to happiness, you can get a blueberries to the baby, and she can gnaw.
Bye, friends.
She's teething, right? Yeah.
There you go. Everybody have a good night. Be safe.
Bye, guys.